There was a Gallup poll last September that showed that only 9% of Americans say they have high levels of confidence in the news media. The only 31% additional of the additional population has some level of confidence. So you're talking about a 60% no confidence rate in the media right now. And the what you're talking about, that sort of disconnect between journalists and the population. I mean, I was definitely aware of it. I remember I covered the presidential election in 2016, and Donald Trump, during his speeches, he would point to us. He would point to the press section, and he would say, you know, look at those bloodsuckers. They're not on your side. I'm on your side. They're lying to you. And I could see the way the crowds were looking at us differently than they used to. I was very alarmed that my colleagues didn't take it seriously. I knew right away that was a serious problem, and I think it's something that really more of the old timers in our business are worried about, whereas there's a generation coming up that doesn't know that it's ever been different. There was a very influential article in 2016 here in the New York Times called "Trump is Testing the Norms of Objectivity in Journalism," and the author, the columnist, essentially said that journalists not only have to worry about being true, but they have to be worried about being true to history's judgment. And what this really meant was that we no longer can trust the audience to just sort things out on their own. We can't just give them the information and worry about being accurate and hope that they'll make sense of it. We now have to give them information and try to steer them in the correct direction, because the implication is we don't trust them to make that decision anymore. To me, that speaks to a total breakdown in the relationship, because the press has always been about communicating with the public and saying, look, here's the compact. We're going to give you all the information. We're going to tell you what's true. We're going to be as dedicated to that job as we can. And then we're going to trust you to do the responsible thing with this information. Now we're saying we don't trust them anymore, and I think they're reciprocating by tuning us out. This was a pre-existing thing that started long before Trump came on the scene. He just very opportunistically took advantage of this drift away from the news media. I mean, I started to see this lack of trust happening sort of right after the Iraq War. I think the WMD episode was very, very damaging in the United States. People started to realize that essentially there were different camps in the news media, and that they were really playing for profit, not worrying as much about accuracy as they had in the past. And Trump just took advantage of all those frustrations, and he turned it into a class issue. He cast journalists as the elitists, which helped him solve his own accessibility problem with people, given that he was a billionaire. And I thought it was a brilliant strategy. I mean, I didn't love it personally, because obviously it reflected badly on the business, but it was smart, it was effective, and it's ongoing. I mean, I think there's still a lack of willingness in the business to reckon with what's happened, and they haven't changed their behavior. If anything, they've kind of doubled down, I would say.
Thank you.